speaker talking about a vision. Brigadier Julius Maada Bio is the presidential candidate for the Sierra Leone People's Party, SLPP. As I was explaining to the Brigadier, Sierra Leone is a country that Chatham House has over the years taken a defined interest in. And we welcome all parties of Sierra Leone to debate and discuss Sierra Leone's prosperity and its struggle to become a middle-income country. Today I would like, first of all, to thank Ansu and Harold Sapper from the SLPP UK branch for initiating this meeting. It was them getting in touch with us that we decided that this would be a good idea to host the meeting. Brigadier Julius Maada Bio needs probably no introduction to most of you. He has been involved in the overthrow of the All People's Congress government of Joseph Saidu Momo, marking the beginning of the National Provisional Ruling Council regime in 1992. Under the NPRC, he was appointed Minister of Information and Broadcasting. He became the military head of state from January 1996 to March 1996, before handing over power to former President Ahmed Tejan-Kaba. Tejan-Kaba has been here at Chatham House. This meeting is on the record, but I would ask you, if you've got telephones, to switch them on. Thank you very much. I'd like to invite you, Brigadier, to take the podium and to provide us your speech of what your vision is for Sierra Leone and why people should vote for you. Thank you very much.
Chair, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please permit me on behalf of my party to first and foremost thank the UK government for its continued support to Sierra Leone and for helping my country through numerous difficulties, including support to re-establish peace after a devastating war and for our post-war reconstruction. I would also like to say that I'm very much aware of the many of you. I'm very much aware of the many things that we like to question. Due to time constraints, I will not be able to cover everything in specific details. There's much to discuss about my policies on education, health, and the mining sector, or indeed the upcoming elections in November. I'll be very happy to engage with you on these issues after the speech. Let me first thank the Director of the Royal Institute of International Affairs for inviting me to this forum. I want to share with you my party's philosophy. Before I start, I would like to outline the very real threats that we as a campaigning opposition in an election year face in Sierra Leone. In September last year, I was stoned and hospitalized by government supporters while attending a rally that was intended to launch my candidacy for the elections. Rallies were then banned by the police in a serious blow to freedom of speech. Early this year, it was discovered that the government had purchased $4.5 million of heavy arms, rocket-propelled grenade, machine guns, submachine guns, through a non-armed dealer. Weapons that I'm sure you will agree with me are completely necessary to control a busy crowd at the polling station. Don't worry. I know that this isn't election rally, but I hope you will allow me to go some way to explaining just why Sierra Leone is crying out for a new democratic direction. The Sierra Leone People's Party's overriding philosophy of a unified Sierra Leone is enshrined in its motto, one country, one people, supported by the party's ideological brand of social democracy. This seeks to combine efficiency and effectiveness of the market economy with the innate compassion of state intervention to protect the vulnerable and the marginalized in society. It also assures optimal production, wealth creation, and social justice. It is this orientation that will inform the economic and social programs of future SLPP government. It is my hope that after the election in November, Sierra Leone will come under a new direction, with the SLPP working assiduously toward the attainment of a better Sierra Leone. The new direction will be guided by the following principles: unity in diversity, primacy of national interest, accountability and transparency in public affairs, an end to impunity, zero tolerance for corruption, the respect for human rights, upholding the rule of law, and promoting justice. In a country which has such needs as my own, it is the case that every sector has claimed to be a priority, especially where there is fierce competition for limited national resources. My belief is that the following foundations need to be laid first to allow the country to be rebuilt in a sustainable way: youth training and employment, effective management of natural resources and the economy, quality education and improved health care, respecting human rights and upholding the rule of law, eliminating hunger, fighting corruption, and improving accountability, empowerment of women, and building and maintaining a sound infrastructure. The time at my disposal this afternoon allows me only to focus just on a few of these. So I will start with youth training and employment. My country is a young country. 15 to 35-year-olds account for about a third of the total population. Our youth voting population is at least 60% of the total voting public. This means that the elections are about putting the youth at the center of development and in the driving seat. Across the country, dynamic young people are striving to make an impact on national development. They play a crucial role in the ongoing democratization and peace-building processes. They are the greatest national asset which we can ill afford to squander, because today's young people are the next generation of workers, entrepreneurs, and leaders. Investment in education, training, youth development has been unacceptably low. This has resulted in weak opportunities for youth employment. Consequently, the proportion of underutilized and unemployable youth is increasing in alarming proportions and could easily become fodder for future conflict. In the new direction, we view the Sierra Leone youth problem as a human development and security challenge. We must give it the utmost attention if the country is to drive further the consolidation of peace and capacity building for a prosperous nation. Specifically, I will look at making significant changes, including providing technical skills in areas relevant for the Sierra Leone job market, investing in tertiary education to train our youth in employable skills, establishing a youth service scheme, establishing a special employment fund to provide for youth capacity building and supporting the entrepreneurial effort, promoting youth engagement in agriculture and developing and encouraging job creation in the private sector. Our country is resource rich, but policy poor. We have a vast swath running through the population. If our president is to be believed, Sierra Leone is booming. Supported by Tony Blair and international lobbies, he has taken this message around the world. But PR is no substitute for the truth. Nearly 6 million people are stuck in desperate conditions of grinding poverty amidst the growing affluence of a few. Lifting them from those conditions is a struggle we must fight. And it is a struggle we must win. Thus far, the management of our economy has been less than impressive. Economic growth will never materialize while Mr. Kroma presides over at best incompetent and at worst corrupt stewardship of our economy. The expansionary fiscal policy as a result of unplanned spending on urban roads and electricity, coupled with falling domestic revenue, has considerably widened the fiscal gap and is a major source of inflation, which stood at about 21% in July 2011. Public spending is expected to rise further as desperation within the ruling party for the re-election of the incumbent president reaches fever pitch. The global financial crisis created immunity for no country. And in Sierra Leone, the poor received no protection from the ravages of the global financial meltdown. As a result, living standards dropped drastically. Compounding this problem, the government completely failed to put in place any strategy that would have increased domestic production and food and reduced food prices. The effect of all of this is that today, the conditions in Sierra Leone are so terrible that many a family cannot even afford a meal a day. Under responsible leadership, working closely with our development partners, we can seize this opportunity. The modern market economy can exist. Our reliance on foreign aid is not permanent. And when the world emerges from these dark economic times, our nation will be ready to grasp every opportunity that comes its way. Overall, the objectives of my economic management shall be to have a stable and competitive national currency that will promote exports, to reduce public sector deficit through increased revenue as a consequence of enhanced revenue administration and expansion of revenue base, as well as the better management of public finances, to reduce inflation and create conditions for essential goods to be available and affordable, to create jobs, particularly for our youth, through boom in private activities, private sector activities, to increase domestic production of essential goods, particularly food, to expand and improve efficiency in public spending on social services, and to develop public infrastructure with high economic and social benefits. We see our future as one of collaboration with our development partners. We shall design well-coordinated and coherent policies and programs that make our development commitments more credible to investors and to our own people. This way, we hope to increase private sector investment in our country. Development is about people and by the people. Development needs to start by focusing on our people, our human capital. This will require investing in education, training, and healthcare. Ladies and gentlemen, any mention of Sierra Leone is often followed by discussion over our natural resources. Now, mining is second only to agriculture for both employment and income generation. The prospects for additional discovery of mineral deposits in the country are looking bright. Mineral exploration is being intensified throughout the country. It is estimated that within the next decade, we could well see the establishment of 4 new large mines in the country. Direct and indirect employment in the mining sector will thus grow exponentially. The present government has been demanding advanced taxation from mining companies to finance its infrastructure projects. This is money that should be due in future and could be used for other development purposes. To collect these monies and use them under dubious circumstances with suspicious